Hi everyone, my name is Erin Elizabeth Wamberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new here. Today is the solstice, so if you are in the northern hemisphere, we have the winter solstice, and if you are in the southern hemisphere, you have the summer solstice. So this is either the longest or shortest day of the year, depending again which hemisphere you're on. And so what the solstice really communicates to us is like finding balance between dualities, between like light and dark, long and short, finding these balance in these things. Everything exists on a spectrum in this realm. And a lot of times when we move with things, when we get out of balance with things, that's when we need to turn inward and get clear about the ways we can, refine peace and balance within ourselves when we examine those things. So I just have a quick 10-minute tarot card reading for you today. I have 4 groups for you. You can go ahead and pick by the card you can see, by the number, by the sound of my voice. Group 1, group 2, group 3, or group 4. Whenever you're ready, all the timestamps are below, and I will see you at the reading that you chose. Hi everyone, welcome. It's everyone who picked group number 1. So you all picked the card Take Action. So I feel like when we think about balance and duality here with the solstice, this card is really a reminder that there is a time to, consume knowledge and reflect and slow down a little bit and, decide, well, what is next for me? What's the right thing for me? All that. And then there is a time to just do it. There is a time to stop trying to learn something new. There is a time to stop trying to not learn anything new, but the focus is to not have it be so much on all of that and have it be more inward and be like, okay, now that I know this is in this thing, what am I going to do with it, right? All the knowledge in the world means nothing if you don't take action with it or change your behavior with it or try something new, right? Sometimes that can be a way we can stop ourselves because think, well, I just need to read one more book, or I just need to have one more thing, or I just need to, whatever. And again, only you know the timing, only you know when it is better for you to take action versus take some rest, or when it's time for you to do this and this, right? But this card is really saying, if there's something in your life, whatever the first things that come up for you when I am reading these cards, right? Trust that. So what if there's a certain area in your life, or it could just be taking action in anything, right? This is the time to do it. This is the time to just put one foot down, one foot in front of the other, keep going. And again, sometimes we think well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what step 50 is, so I can't take step 1. But, the path is made by walking. We figure it out along the way as we continue to move forward and do all this stuff, right? All these things continue to come together. So take action is just a reminder that, start small. I'm sure one next right action you could take, start with that. And then those things, trust that they will add up and that they will come together and change and make life more clear for you. So take action, don't delay, don't force anything, but this is more for if you're I don't know what to do. I don't have all the answers. I don't know how this is going to work out, right? This take action card is more for that type of energy of just start, you figure it out by starting. You get more clarity once you start. Clarity comes from action. You'll figure it out along the way more than just oh, I don't know what to do, so I'm not going to do anything, right? That doesn't really help get things moving here. So take action is take how it resonates, but could be generally in your life doing something different, or it could be about a specific thing. I don't know how to, eat healthier. I don't know how to become a bodybuilder. I don't know how to start my business, or I don't know how to start going to school, or I don't know how to, repair this relationship or whatever. But this is all just reminders that, you just start and then you will figure it out along the way. Okay, I have 3 tarot cards for you. You have 3 of Cups, the Magician, and the Hermit. So I feel again, this is really saying there's some balance here, right? So the Hermit is obviously about being in isolation, being by yourself, holding your own energy, checking in tune with that. And then this 3 of Cups is about community, partying, good times, being supported by people who love you, group energy. And then we have the Magician in the middle, which is about, creating things, doing something, being responsible for yourself, having all those things work together. So I feel going along with this take action card, again, taking action doesn't mean that you forget how to balance it with turning inward and being quiet and reflecting within yourself, right? So this is really saying, we meet our goals and we create things and we move forward in our lives when we have this balance between like, okay, turning inward, checking in with myself, maintaining my own energy, and also this balance of like having community support, whether that means like someone mentors me or helps me figure it out, or I can call someone, ask some questions, or it means, you know, celebrating and being supported and feeling loved and cared for while I'm figuring my things out. It's all of that, you know. So I think group one for you all, like this take action, what I'm hearing is don't go so far into the other way that you completely forget to like maintain your own self, and don't like ricocheting from one to the other isn't how it goes, right? It's like going the middle way, going the middle path, making sure you find that balance along the way to figure out what works best for you with this. So, you know, you can create the things you want, but it is going to take like some prayer and meditation and checking with yourself and saying like, okay, well, what is the guidance for me? What do I need to do? What do I need to have to work out for myself? And then also, how can I rely on my community? How can I find my support? Who is a support person for me, or who's someone I can learn from or reach out to, or things like that, right? So all of this is, you know, just keeping that balance, which again is very on theme with our solstice here, of just how can we use these things to you know, work together. It's not a or, right? It's a both and. How can you find the balance? How can you know, how can you turn inward and see, okay, in this situation I need a little bit more of this, and in this situation I need a little bit more of this, instead of, you know, again feeling like, okay, it has to be this all or nothing thing that's going on. Look at this. Now we have the angel of discernment. Through the grace of the divine, I'm able to know the right path. So this is literally exactly what I was saying. Okay, this is where we think about, you know, there are times where you do need to like turn inward and check in with yourself and manage your own energy and hear some of that guidance and like trust in your alignment with God. And then there is times where it's like, no, this is a time for me to lean on my community, to get support, to do this, to do that, whatever, right? So this is very clear message, the angel of discernment. That is energy that is going to help you, you know, say, okay, this is a time to do this or a time to do that, or this is a time to have a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that. So the angel of discernment is just, again, very clear message here. Through the grace of the divine, I'm able to know the right path. And that's even what I was saying in the beginning with taking action. Like, you don't need to know what step 50 is. You just have to do right now and trust that you and God and your community and your being still with yourself, checking in with all of that, all of those things will work together to help you move through to get to the other side and bring some awareness around what to do when the time is right. So don't the fear of, well, what's going to happen in a year, 5 years, 10 years, that's the future is in God's hands, and just letting yourself do your part, and then God always does God's part when we do that. And then I'm going to pick another oracle card for you. I mean, look at this. Start where you are. Again, exactly what we're talking about, right? So you don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to know, okay, like I'm on level infinity, I'm this, I'm doing all these things and whatever, right? Start where you are. This just really means, obviously, start where you are. And it means that, along the path, it's good to have a goal and say, okay, well, like step 50 is going to be this when I get there. But so many things happen to us. That's part of the process, right? The process changes us along the way so that we can get to our goals better. And so letting yourself be changed, letting yourself surrender the process, letting yourself say, okay, this is my ideal. This is probably hopefully what it looks like, but not being super attached to it, and knowing that I can start where I am and that's enough. And I don't need to overthink it or, say, okay, well, I don't have all the answers, so I'm just not going to do anything, right? This take action card that just means start. You start by starting, like it's really easy to be like, well, I don't have the best equipment, or I don't have this thing, or I need to buy this, or I need to read one more book, or blah, 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 and it's okay to want to do that, but you have to be honest with yourself about recognizing when you're doing that as a way to avoid starting versus when you actually don't have enough information. So start where you are. Like I said in the beginning, I'm sure you have enough information or guidance to even do step 1. And that step 1 could just be like, well, I need to email someone to help me figure out how to do this thing, or I need to sign up for this class, or I need to, whatever. So start where you are. I'm sure one thing you could do to get going. And that's all you need. And then build that momentum and keep moving forward with it. Okay, we'll close with one affirmation card. I relate in peace. Very nice. So I think two messages with this. The first is peace with yourself and peace with others. So if you are going to ask someone for help, or you are going to try to be mentored or figure out what's going on as you take action, just remember, I relate in peace. Just remember, like, reach with an open heart, be kind, don't pick a fight for no reason, right? Just offer some of that energy back, and keep your heart open to some miracles that can come through. Because even if someone can't help you, maybe they can recommend someone who can help you or work with you. And then I relate in peace also means to yourself, right? So sometimes we can be really judgmental of ourselves, or think like, oh, I don't know how to do this, and this, or this other thing, right? So I relate in peace can be even with your relationship with yourself, of like, can I be kind and accepting and caring and loving to myself as I'm going through this process and I'm doing all of this, right? Can I not judge myself? Can I just say, it's okay, like give yourself a hug, say, we'll figure it out. I know where to go. I know, I trust myself to figure it out. I trust that I can, take action, and things will unfold, and things will be revealed to me as I continue to move along the way I'm going. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's for everyone who picked group number 2. So you all picked the card Abundance. So I think this card is a good reminder that we do live in abundant reality. There is enough. Things can happen in unexpected ways. Things can come together in ways we never imagined. And also, there's things that we don't even know exist that will come into our life eventually, right? There's people we don't know who are alive, who will be like wonderful people who we love and care about. There's opportunities, there's career paths, there's locations, there's all these things, and that we live in such an abundant world, and we don't even know about all of it at all. So the main message that I'm getting for you all is just remembering like the fullness of life, and kind of taking a step back and remembering like love is love. Freudian slip here. Okay. Love is also part of abundance, right? But life is long is what I was going to say. And there is a lot of opportunities to change and grow and have different seasons and figure things out and move along your path for yourself, and all of those things. So the abundance of what I'm hearing is like, if you're going through a hard time, or maybe it's been a hard few years for you, or just kind of like this, just seems like nothing is really coming together, and you're showing up and you're doing all this stuff, but it's just like not working. I think this message is like zooming out and remember that God can see the whole picture. And like, it's really easy to focus, especially when we don't feel the best, and when things like aren't really going our way, right? It's really easy to focus on one thing of just like, well, this shouldn't be happening, or this should be like this instead of this, or this should be like this, or whatever the story is. But this is just a reminder that there is so much in life, and there are so many things, and things can change. They will change eventually. Nothing lasts forever, good or bad. Something we want, something we don't want, right? But abundance really is a reminder that there's so much in this world, and so much in this realm, and so many opportunities, that as long as you keep putting yourself out there and keep going, and keep pushing yourself to do new things, to try new things, to show up, to be open to life, right? When you have an open heart, it's easier to find your place, to keep growing, to find things that resonate for you as you continue to grow and change. And so I think this abundance is just a reminder, and again, not to like minimize or spiritually bypass if you're having a hard time, or hard little bit, it just seems like things aren't working. Just remember that, so in our human things, our human limited minds, we're like, okay, well, I want this, so where is it? Or this is how it should be like this, right? But we don't give enough patience and grace for the process for these things to come together, right? We think like heaven and earth should just move because we decided we wanted this one thing, when it rarely works like that. And so abundance, again, is just a reminder that there's a lot of options, and a lot of things can happen in this life, and how many lives we live in one lifetime. And so just having some patience with the process, and trusting that we're not in charge of the results or the changes when they actually come to be, but we are in charge of how we show up and how we allow things to happen, and who we're choosing to be and what we're choosing to do amidst all that stuff. So just letting each thing in life just be its own moment, its own chapter, its own experience moving forward, and not, we can get so focused on where's the next thing that sometimes we forget to just enjoy this chapter of our life, and not enjoy if it's something you don't like, right? But so it's good to just be in the present moment, because your life will never be what it is right now ever again, right? Okay, so for your tarot, you have the Eight of Wands, Knight of Cups, Seven of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. So I feel like this is really energy of movement, of things happening. So this Eight of Wands, of course, is about movement. It's about action. It's about things going on. So this could be maybe there was a sudden change or something happened, or it feels like you're throwing like, all these wands, you're trying to make all this happen. You're putting all your energy into these things and trying to make it work and doing all this stuff. And it just feels like nothing's happening, nothing's sticking. That's not in vain. Okay. Even if you don't see the results or the fruit of the seeds you're planting right now, or, even if it feels like, well, I'm doing all this stuff and nothing's happening, it's not in vain, right? Again, like these things take time and we're not in charge of how quickly things happen or how quickly they come together or whatever. So this Eight of Wands is just a reminder that it's okay to trust that things could take the time they're going to take. And that doesn't mean that you should stop doing things that feel good to you just because you don't see results. So like, for example, if you're meditating every day, going to therapy, going on your walks, doing your workouts, nourishing your body, resting, right? And you're like, well, I'm not seeing any fruits of my labor yet, right? It's just a reminder that those things are not in vain, and just trust that even the commitment to do those, even when there's not immediate, results or feedback from them, it's still important for you to keep doing that. Because with this Knight of Cups, everybody loves him. Slowest mover guy in the tarot we have here, right? So this is slow and steady wins the race, which is what I'm hearing. There's no race, obviously, because it's your life and you can do whatever you want, but slow and steady, right? One foot in front of the other, just keep moving, just keep going, just allow these things to happen. And just like, again, progress, the direction is more important than the speed. The fact that you're showing up, you're trying to make something happen, you have the intention, you're doing the best you can every day, all of that counts and adds up when you're doing this. And then the Seven of Swords, to me, I always read this card as like, you can't take everything with you for where you're going. So I feel like for you guys in group 2, like sometimes we try to move forward and we try to like bring a lot of physical stuff, like even our old selves, some relationships, some ways of thinking. We try to bring all that with us when we want this like totally new life or way of being or different existence. And it's like, you can't bring all that. It can't come with you. You have to use some discernment here. So with this solstice, or just, thinking about, okay, what are thought patterns I want to change? Like what physical reality things can I get rid of? What about my identity? Like I used to be like this, but now I know I can't be like that, or I can't be that type of person anymore, or, my interest is now on this thing instead of this thing, right? So using some discernment to release some of that stuff is going to help you. And like, just using, you don't need to hold on to every single thing. Well, again, that's another part of abundance, right? You will be taken care of, and you don't need to hold on to all of the stuff. Because then we have the Ace of Cups, which is overflow, right? So all of these 3 cards ended up into the Ace of Cups, right? So this is just like abundance, 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 overflow, overflow, overthrow. Oh, revolution now. Okay, but overflow. Okay, and this is just a reminder that, if you've heard that saying, right? Like God tests us by having nothing happen and then everything happen all at once. So I'm sure it will be sooner than later where everything will come together and you'll just be like, oh my God, this is so much. I'm so overwhelmed. How do I do all this? This is all, like just, you will be, God always makes up for lost time, and these things always come together in perfect timing. And it's more about, again, the self-discipline and the consistency you can commit to these things with, and like making, being super focused on the outcome and the ending. Okay, and then we have the Angel of Freedom. I'm always free to choose love, independence, and creativity. So again, I feel like what's being reflected here in this reading for you guys in group 2 is like, it's more about you choosing to show up and choosing to stay committed and having that self-discipline to do these things, even if you don't see the results or see the fruits of your labor or the outcome right away, right? So the freedom to choose here with love, independence, and creativity, that again, having self-discipline, a form of love for ourselves is having self-discipline. It is having consistency. It is showing up and doing the behavior, even if we don't have the specific results coming right away, right? So remembering to choose love, independence, and creativity. So being the best person you can be will always be beneficial for you, no matter, again, if you get a certain physical reality result or not. We're weaving the web of life. So again, I feel like just again, nothing is in vain that you're doing. Okay. So even if it's not the exact outcome that you want or the exact whatever, God is infinitely smarter than us. Thank God. Okay. And so you doing all these things and all that together is weaving these things into your life. You are planting seeds. You are making these things come together and move all of that. And eventually everything connects and you will be shown why these things were like this, or this thing led to this, or this was like this, right? And so having faith that, these things aren't in vain, even if you get a different outcome than you thought you wanted, or something different happens than you thought was going to happen. Again, just remembering and trusting that like all that is for your highest good, and having faith in the process, having faith in God, even if it's not, the exact thing you wanted coming to be for you. And then we have, I speak with good intent for your affirmation to close your reading. So again, I feel like this is just, sometimes we can be like, nothing's working and da da da. And if I did this, so where's this, right? We're really transactional with the way we talk about stuff. So speaking with good intent can just be a reminder that, I'm proud of myself for showing up, like praising yourself for the action, not the outcome. I'm proud of myself that I'm trying to do this. I'm proud of myself that I'm making this and this happen. I'm proud of myself that I'm committed to this, even if I don't see this thing in physical reality, right? So speaking with good intent, being kind to yourself instead of beating yourself up over things we can't control, right? Because we're not guaranteed an outcome or a result, no matter how many things we do to get that. We're not in charge of that. So speaking with good intent can just be a reminder to be kind to yourself through this process, even if you don't see the thing you want happening as soon as we want it to happen, which is usually immediately for humans. Okay. That's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's for everyone who picked group number 3. So you all pick the card, Ask Your Angels. So I feel like this card is obviously about asking your angels, right? And sometimes we can think like, I can handle this, I can do this, I'm doing it, whatever, right? We think, well, this is obviously the way it needs to happen. This is obviously the way it needs to do that, right? And we forget that there's so much support on the other side, right? There's that saying, if you ever heard it, like, we ask God for so little and God is so willing to do so much for us. And this also can be your angels, your spirit guides, God, whatever, fairies, whoever, your crossed over ancestors, anything that resonates for you, right? Take it how it works for you, how your spiritual practice is. But ask your angels as a reminder that there's so much help on the other side, but we can forget so much. First of all, that they're there. And second of all, like what we can do to connect to that and trust that and honor that. And we get so in our brain thinking like, well, I'm just going to do this, this, and this, and it'll be fixed. And I'm just going to whatever, right? And there's so many times when we sincerely pray for help or ask for help through prayer or meditation or both or whatever, that we forget that there's so much help for us. And we forget that just simply being humble enough to say, I can't do this on my own, that creates a miracle for us. That creates a change for us. That allows things to be different for us. But we get so caught up again, like my way, I can figure it out. I can use my logic, right? So sometimes we don't get the answer right away or the guidance right away, but we get the peace in our heart from saying like, okay, I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. I don't have to do this on my own. I know there's like something bigger than me and this physical reality, like helping me do all of this. So asking your angels is a reminder that there is help for you. You don't have to feel alone. You don't have to feel isolated. Prayer can always, I recommend prayer as the first stop for anything you do in any situation of your life. And so asking your angels, again, is a reminder that they are there. They are willing to help you and work with you and do all of that. And again, even if you don't get the guidance, just connecting to that pour of energy that is loving and kind and gentle, and remind you that, again, you're not on your own. That can be worth, even if you don't get the guidance you were looking for, like immediately. Okay, let's look at your tarot cards. Okay, so Death in the Tower. It's 2 of everybody's favorite cards. I actually love these cards. I mean, it's fun for me to say I love them while I'm doing a reading, but when it's my life, I don't really like it that much, right? But Death in the Tower. So this is about things ending, things being swept away, things changing, a lot of things out of our control, things we probably wouldn't choose for ourselves, knowing that, life is always on life's terms, right? So endings, things being changed, a lot of unforeseen circumstances. So I feel like group 3, there's probably some energy here around like these things, you know, like these circumstances we wouldn't choose for ourselves, that we have to deal with, that we have to whatever, especially the last few years, right? This is all part of life. Like all of us go through this, and that's not to minimize what you're going through, but it is a reminder that, you know, you're not alone. You didn't do anything wrong. You're not being punished, right? Like, but there is upheaval and change. It's constant. It's part of life. And leaning into that is so, so important. And then we have the Two of Swords from that. So again, I feel like we're all given circumstances that, again, we wouldn't choose for ourselves. We're not necessarily jumping up and down for joy that they happen to us, right? But this kind of is the card of like learned helplessness. Like, well, I'm not going to do anything. I don't know which sword I'm going to pick. I'm going to like kind of cross my heart, block my heart here. I'm going to be blindfolded. I don't want to see. I don't want to, you know, all this stuff. And just remembering that you can let these things go, and you can, like this thing, I think of this idea of, just because something happened to you, you have an agency within that. Like you have agency within a change that you didn't choose. Okay, that's kind of a big sentence, but I hope it made sense, right? You have agency. These things that happen to us, you get to choose who you want to be in that circumstance, even if you didn't choose that circumstance. So this is really reminding yourself of your own power, remembering who you are. And again, it doesn't mean you're more powerful than God or life or changing these circumstances, but it is a reminder that you do have a choice, and you can say yes or no, and you can, you know, again, like, and obviously have your process more, and don't like minimize these things you're going through, but you do have a choice of, you know, who you choose to be in the situations and things like that. And then finally, we have the Nine of Cups. So this is about wishes fulfilled. This is about things coming together for you. This is about knowing that, you know, like when you do take ownership for yourself and find a way and do something else and feel loved and protected, right? That emotional fulfillment can take you through these circumstances in life. And there's a lot of things in life that happen to us all throughout our life that we don't like, you know, that's like uncomfortableness and unideal things are part of life. And this Nine of Cups is a reminder that, you know, as long as you show up for yourself and offer yourself love and compassion, there is faith on the other side, there is hope, there is emotional fulfillment, as long as you don't give up on yourself, and as long as you keep showing up for yourself, right? There is this emotional fulfillment no matter, you know, what happens and what gets taken away, as long as you are willing to show up for yourself and be kind and be loving, even again in circumstances where you wouldn't necessarily choose to do that for yourself. Maybe the guardian angel, spiritual growth, the way I become spiritual is simply to become myself. So I feel like this is saying, don't lose yourself in these situations. Don't lose yourself in these situations that ask you to grow, that push you beyond your comfort zone, that make you feel uncomfortable, right? So the way you become spiritual is to become yourself, means like not abandoning yourself, staying with yourself, like holding on to your precious and dear heart, no matter what's happening in physical reality. Just remembering like you don't need to change or become like a mean, harmful, vengeful person because of these things in life that happen. You can still choose to be, you can have boundaries, of course, right? We don't want to be stupid here, right? But you can still choose to be kind and loving and patient and warm and gentle and cultivate love and care in your life without that. And look at this last one, your heart knows the way. So again, exactly what I'm saying here, like ask your angels. So many times we just want like peace and acceptance and feeling loved and cared for. And so your heart knows the way, you know, like let your heart speak. You know, sometimes we think like, how am I supposed to pray? What am I supposed to ask for? Am I doing it right? Am I doing whatever, right? Your heart knows the way. That just means when you connect to your angels, to God, to whoever, whatever thing you pray to, your higher power, just remembering like, let your heart speak for itself. Let your heart speak in its own language of kindness and gentleness and care, instead of, you know, forcing it to be a certain way or do a certain thing. You know, that is going to serve you. And you don't have to have the perfect words. Just show up with honest, gentle energy, and that's good enough. I can't believe this. I speak with sincerity. So again, exactly what I was talking about this last affirmation for you guys. So close your reading, right? You don't have to have the perfect words. You just need to speak with sincerity, with kindness, with, you know, again, the truth of what's going on in your heart, what feels right to you, what feels resonant to you, instead of this feeling of like, oh my God, I'm never going to figure it out. I'm never going to, you know, whatever. So sincerity, God speaks the language of sincerity before anything else. So I speak with sincerity as a reminder that just trust what's in your heart and trust the best you can show up and the best you can articulate something will help you feel connected to the other side. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you want any more information about me, all that's linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's for everyone who picked group number 4. So you'll pick the card, Helpful People. So the first thing that I heard when I saw this card was there are a lot of helpful people in this world, okay? Sometimes we can get betrayed by someone, or people have bad intentions, or they're not genuine, or whatever, and it's easy to focus on that, but there actually are many, many kind, helpful, loving people in this world. And, this is saying, like, lean into that. You don't have to do everything on your own. You don't have to do things in isolation. You don't have to only depend on yourself for things. Helpful people is a reminder that there is a lot of loving kindness around you, and there for you and helpful for you. And, leaning into that and leaning into it could be your friends and family, chosen family, blood family. There can be people in that, but it can also be people on more of the periphery, right? It could be someone who you follow on social media, or you watch their YouTube videos, or you read their book or their story, and that helps you, right? It could be just someone who you interact with in the day, who you're at the store and they go out of their way to offer you like a little bit more loving kindness and care, right? So helpful people is a reminder that there is goodness in this world. There are people who are kind, who do want to help you, who do want to be genuine with you, and it's okay to lean into that and want that. And also for you to be a helpful person, right? There's so much fear of like, don't get scammed and don't do this and da 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 da. But helpful people is a reminder that, that's that saying, like, if you can't find a kind person, be one. If you can't find someone who's doing this, be one. So helpful people is a reminder that it's good for you to, own that energy for yourself and offer that to the world as something going on as well, instead of just saying like, well, where is it? Instead just being like, well, there are helpful people in this world, and I'm going to choose to be one of them, and I'm going to choose to contribute to that, no matter, what the scale is, right? Sometimes we think like, oh, well, I'm not helping enough people, or I don't have $80 million, so my like $10 I'm going to put isn't going to help. Or, this is a reminder that helpful people help in all circumstances, whether it's one person or a million people. And, it's like being kind and showing up in those ways is what contributes to the world being a more loving, kind place, right? A lot of people doing a lot of these smaller things, and those things adding up instead of, these big giant gestures around that. Okay, for your tarot cards, you have the 6 of Wands, the Devil, and the 6 of Cups. Okay, so I feel like the 6 of Wands energy, to me, what I'm really getting from this in relation to this helpful people card is just remembering that, like, integrity is a reward on its own, or like virtue is a reward of its own, goodness is a reward of its own, right? So just remembering, like, even if you're just helping one person or just doing one thing that, might not seem huge or totally impactful or whatever to the whole world, right? Just remember that 6 of Wands energy is about, like, you can connect and help. Like, if we all do our own little part, that's what adds up and that's what counts. So this is saying, like, having a clean conscience and knowing you were a helpful, kind person, that will go so far in this realm, and it does, and it helps so many people. No matter what, the devil energy or, naysayers or haters or whatever try to be like, well, you're only helping one person, so da da da. It was like, you made a difference for that person, right? And it's about, I couldn't save the whole world, or I couldn't whatever, but I know I can. This is my reach. This is what I can do, and that's what I'm going to contribute to. So finding, what I'm hearing is like finding peace in the reach you have and the work you can do and the scale you can do. And again, leaning into this energy of like, okay, if I know there's a lot of helpful people doing this, it's not just me, then we're all kind of like contributing to doing that. Like when I focus on peace with myself, and I know other people are as well, that's all working together and contributing to everything. Because then we have the 6 of Cups here, which is about inner child energy, healing that inner child, just remembering, like, everyone has like, these gentle parts of us that feel scared, that feel like I can't do this, or I don't want to be judged, or, whatever. And so remembering, like, when we act with integrity and kindness and just go out of our way to offer a little bit of love and care, like we're contributing to this energy again of everyone feeling safe. And that's not only good for us, but obviously good for everyone else. And so just remembering here, like, you know, seeing with the innocence of a child and the kindness and someone who wasn't harmed, someone who hasn't been hurt, someone who isn't fearful. It's like, again, we're not stupid here. We have to be on earth. So, you know, I'm not saying like have no boundaries and don't care about anything, right? But this is a reminder that, you know, you can balance these things and you can lean into some of this energy of saying like, okay, I do want to help people and I do want to offer some like kindness and care and just like gentleness, you know, like the gentleness of the way you would treat a child is like, how many times do we not offer that same like compassion or patience to an adult, and how many times do we want to be offered that as an adult and we're not given it? So can you do that for other people? And look at this, we have the angel of knowing. So my sense of inner knowing leads me to the light. So this is just a reminder that you know how to do this, you know how to be helpful, you know how to be kind, you know how to be non-judgmental. Just sometimes we forget and it gets pushed out of us and we get unsocialized and we like, you know, all of that. So the angel of knowing, my sense of inner knowing leads me to the light is just a reminder that you know how to do this. And again, you don't have to like, don't do something that feels fake, you know, but all of us know how to offer some love and patience and understanding instead of like, you know, reacting. Can I take a moment to be mindful within myself and just say, okay, I'm just going to take a deep breath, not react, not respond, bite my tongue for a second, right? All of us know how to do this. It's just not doing it tends to be more practiced than doing it, which like, again, it's very encouraged in the society. It's a lot of things around like, you know, put yourself first and do all this and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like, well, do I want peace or not? Do I want to work on these things or not? So the angel of knowing is a reminder that you know how to do this, you know how to be helpful, you know what you're called to, you know what things feel resonant and clear within yourself, whether that's how you engage interpersonally, like volunteer work or service work you want to do, how you want to show up in your relationships, right? The type of energy you want to embody, you know what to do. It's just probably that part of you either got pushed out or harmed or socialized out of you. And so it's about reconnecting to that and owning that instead of feeling like, oh, I can't do anything because of, you know, this, and this. You know what to do. It's just encouraging that to be your habit again after not doing it. Look at this, freedom is release. So again, what I'm hearing with this is very much with the Six of Cups energy of just like releasing some of these like cold-hearted ways that we think we have to be, or as we get older, we get a little bit more jaded, right? So freedom is release. So letting go of some of that judgment, letting go of these ways that we feel like, oh, I can't be like this because no one else is like this, or like adults aren't compassionate or kind or patient or understanding or whatever, right? I'm sure all of us can think of a moment where someone showed us a little bit of grace and mercy and compassion and it meant the world to us. And so remembering like those values actually do feel really good. They feel nourishing to us. They feel nourishing to other people. And remembering that, you know, freedom is released is the reminder that there is freedom in like choosing, you know, it can be very much reclaiming like not being a hater. Okay, it could be very much, there's a lot of freedom in like releasing these narratives of like, I can't be open-hearted, I can't be kind, I can't whatever, right? And again, using discernment and saying not, you don't have to like open your heart up and have no boundaries and just give people everything and whatever, right? That's not what we're talking about here. But just releasing this thing of like, well, what's a way I can be a little bit more thoughtful, kind of, can I give someone a compliment, right? When maybe I normally wouldn't give a stranger a compliment. Can I be a little more patient when I'm listening to someone? Can I not interrupt them? Can I assume positive intent? Can I, you know, just releasing some of these like things we've learned to internalize and believe that are the way we have to operate when they're not necessarily the way we have to do things anymore. Okay, and then closing with your affirmation. I mean, look at this. I give blessings. Exactly what I was just saying. Okay, so it could just be, again, giving a compliment, saying a kind word, and again, not in like this like savior way of just like, I'm gonna heal you, I'm gonna give you all this, right? Just saying a genuine compliment, like, hey, I love your hair, I love your outfit, like your nails look really cute, that was really nice when you did this, right? Just saying like something genuine and small, and just a reminder that that is a way that we can be helpful, we can be kind, we can remember these ways, we can just offer a little bit of love and care to each other. That is a blessing, right? Just instead of thinking of a judgmental thought, we can give a compliment, give some compassion, give, you know, all of this to people instead of, again, focusing on these ways that like, well, no one's nice, no one's whatever. It's like, well, was I nice today? You know, again, going back to this a very, very important golden rule here. Did I treat people how I want to be treated? Did I give them compliments? Did I offer them grace and compassion? Was I gentle with them? Was I patient with them? And then doing that for yourself too, because again, the more we do that for ourselves, the easier it is to like offer that to other people. So I give blessings again about not downplaying the ways you can show up with loving kindness for yourself and other people, and trusting like, you know what to do, you know how to do that. And know, like, that's the other thing I want to say too. If it feels, oh my God, this is so awkward or weird or cringe, or I don't act like that, it's again, probably just because it's not the most practiced thing for you. It doesn't mean it's not the right thing for you. It doesn't mean it's something that's not going to help people. It just means that, well, this isn't something I've done for this amount of time or this long or whatever, right? So it's not the most practiced, but it's something that still feels welcoming and helpful and kind and gentle on your heart. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.